Here are 10 details in Sinners that you may have missed. Obvious spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen Sinners, bookmark down below, and once you have, come back and talk to me. Older preacher boy Sammy named his bar after S.C.R.E.E.N. One night, and tasting a sweaty cat affected him so much that in the mid-credits scene 30 years later, 1992, when Stack and Mary come to visit preacher boy Sammy at his jazz joint, you can see it's called S.C.R.E.E.N's in remembrance of his one night of love, sin, and tongue. What a guy. In Sinners and in South US folklore, a haint is another word for malevolent spirit or ghost, and haint blue is a light blue paint color which is believed to ward off evil spirits. And we see that Annie, our resident expert of everything supernatural, not only wears that color throughout the film, but is also the color of her house and what Smoke wears too, which ties in with her character and the protection law she tried to impose. There was also the use of animal symbolism to foreshadow what's to come. Firstly, with the snake in the back of the truck right at the beginning of the movie, symbolizing the evil, deceit, and temptation to come, or vultures circling the house in the desert in the Choctaw Native American chase scene, or later in the film circling the juke joint, foreshadowing the impending death in those scenes. But in some cultures, they're seen as divine messengers, ferrying souls to the afterlife. In the film, Smoke and Stack's real names are Elijah and Elias, which are biblical names but also different variants of the same person. Elijah being the Hebrew name of Elias, which is Greek. And I would like to say this was done purposely, seeing they are twins. The very first thing that you hear in the film is a young Sammy's guitar, and the very last thing that you hear in the film is an old Sammy's electric guitar. And the cherry on top is the silver guitar used by Preacher Boy Sammy in the film, was also used by Ludwig Göransson when curating the film's soundtrack. Just before the climactic scene at the end of the film, you see Smoke struggling to roll a cigarette for himself. Why? Of course it was a traumatic experience, saw his friends and family get slaughtered in supernatural circumstances, but up until that point, every moment you see Smoke receive a cigarette, it's been rolled for him by his brother. And in that moment of realizing for that same reason that he can't do it himself, he's deep in the fact that his brother is truly gone even more. On 3 different occasions, Remic's gold coins changed possession. Remick to the Triple K couple, then to Mary, then Mary to Stack. And on all 3 occasions, the person who gives it turns the recipient into a vampire. And I also noticed the vampires who are gold coin recipients have more free agency than the others. Back to that climactic scene before Smoke, he rips the mojo bag off his neck, which was given to him by Annie as mystical protection throughout his life, and most recently stopped him from getting bitten by a vampire. But in that moment, he is finished with this plane of existence. Father's gone, brother's gone, juke bar is up in flames, friends are gone, love of his life is gone, baby is gone. Why am I here? He could have kept the mojo bag on. It could have protected him. But why? Let me go chill with my babies and be free of this hell on earth. Smoke and preacher boy Sammy had a conversation in the juke bar. Sammy spoke about his hopes, his dreams, his aspirations, and where he saw himself in the future. Even despite Smoke's recommendation of Mount Bayou, Sammy wanted to go to Chicago. Fast forward to the end of the film, 30 years later, where's Sammy's jazz joint? In Chicago. Stack taught preacher boy Sammy how to be a real eater. He told him every one of those has a button, and once you find it, lick it like ice cream. Not too soft, but not too hard either. Like you love the flavor, but you don't want it to finish too quick. Man taught him about pressure, pace, and delicacy, and S.C.R.E.E.N later on in the movie was a direct benefactor of that advice. Did you catch all these details? Are there any details that you notice yourself? Put them in the comments below. But I'm your boy Miles. Thank you for watching as always. Peace, love, and follow Agents of S.C.R.E.E.N for more movie content.